What is up YouTube, and welcome to this first Iron Fist episode review. So I'm going to be binging the entirety of Iron Fist in one day and then bringing my thoughts to you lovely people on the internet. But I thought I'd give you a little caveat to my lovely subscribers. Thank you so much. If you've not subscribed, please do click that button below. If you are subscribed, click the little bell thing so you get notifications so you never miss a video. So episode 1 was absolutely fantastic. I loved every single minute of it. And personally I was a bit apprehensive, mainly because of the actor. I've only seen him obviously as Loras Tyrell in Game of Thrones, so I wasn't too convinced if he could possibly carry an entire season of a show, especially such an iconic Marvel character as Iron Fist. We also had the big dooming reviews last week, which were stating that it was whitewashing, it was boring, it was just going nowhere. But really, this first episode was absolutely fantastic, and I loved every single minute of it, like I just said. So we get an insight into just what the world has been like, and Rand Industries has been like, after Danny Rand has gone and his family were killed in this plane crash, which so far seems to be very heavily hinting towards the Meachums offing this family, which is what happened in the comics, so they can take over Rand Industries, which is what they want. They seem to be a very evil, money-grabbing company. And then Danny ends up in Kunlun, which is a mystical city, kind of similar, to the one that you saw in the Doctor Strange movie, but he learns, and it seems that he has learnt under the Thunderer. So he meets Coleen Wing, and, well, more on that later, and he mentions that Lei Kung beat him with a training sword. Lei Kung was the guy who trained every single male in Kunlun in the arts of that. And they also mention Xia Lu, the dragon, as well. Sorry if I'm pronouncing these incorrectly, who powers the city and gives it source of power. And yeah, so pretty cool Easter eggs in the first episode, to be honest. So we've got Coleen Wing in this show, who actually teams up with Misty Knight in the comics quite a lot, which is pretty cool. Obviously we had Misty Knight over on Luke Cage. So there's kind of a lot of references in this, huge references to the wider world, this street level, I'd say, heroes, and we've got possibly the Heroes for Hire coming up later in the Marvel Netflix slate. So the episode as a whole I thought was great. The intro was fantastic, hearing Outcast's So Fresh and So Clean, which I absolutely love. I'm a huge fan of those early Outcast albums, and it does make sense and gives us a sense of time of when Danny Rand crashed on this Himalayas kind of area. The acting, I think, has been superb so far. I find it weird that, well, the Meachums didn't think, hold on, we could just fingerprint Danny Rand, or we could take him for a DNA test. We could convince him, think, hey, well, why not? We're going to befriend him and then see if he actually is him, then put him in this mental hospital, which is a bit strange in my opinion. And if he's got all these powers, why hasn't he managed to get out of the mental hospital? Maybe he's playing dumb, maybe he's letting it lie, letting them think they've got a win over him so far. But the episode is a lot of fun to watch. The powers, the kung fu, maybe sometimes it's a bit awkward. The part where he jumps over the taxi cab was a bit off, I think. The transition didn't look that well, but the rest of it is incredibly fluid, I think, and is up there with the level of Daredevil choreography and stage fighting. Pretty good episode so far. I'm excited for the rest of the season. I expect to see the Hand at some point in this show, and the Hand are going to be a huge thing in the incident and moving forward in the Defenders, I think. So I think we've got Carrie-Anne Moss coming up later in this season, but join me later when I will be talking about the whole season. So I'll probably do a whole Easter egg video and a whole review video at some point, but I've got to watch the whole series first. And going by this episode, well, it's setting a great precedent for the rest of the season. What's interesting as well, we've got Big Al. I expected Big Al to be a sidekick to Danny for quite some time, but obviously, he is gone. He was a kind of a deep cut in the comics there as well. So that's it for this video. Please do drop a like. Please do subscribe. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.